Welcome to another week of A Friendly Nudge. So this week we're going to make a reverse seared tri-tip. And reverse searing works for a lot of different meats. I really like it for tri-tip. It just takes kind of a lot of the hassle out of it. What you do with when you think about normally searing, you're searing a piece of protein and then you're going to cook it for a longer time after that. What you do with reverse sear is it's opposite. You cook it for the longer period and then you do a hard sear on it. So what I'm doing with this is we're going to do tri-tip. We're going to make a rub for it. We're going to cook it in a 250 degree oven, and then we're just going to sear it real quick on the grill. And tri-tip's a great cut of meat if you're not familiar with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the fat off of it, and especially like this is that kind of thick, hard fat. So, tri-tip is already real well marbled. So it's not something, it's isn't going to be like a brisket that you're going to smoke it for hours. Our cooking time on this is going to be 45 minutes. And actually at this time, I probably could have gone about 35 or maybe 40 max. Actually it turned out fine, but what I would have done is probably had it sear a little bit longer. So I've gotten all of the kind of thick fat off of it. And then now what we're going to do is make a rub. And I'm just using, that's all the coriander that I have left. It's probably about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Probably going to put somewhere around a tablespoon, a little bit more of cracked black pepper. And then I'm going to use just kind of a generous amount of a smoked sweet paprika. It's probably a couple of tablespoons that I put there. And then I'm just going to give it a couple of real fat pinches of salt and just get it all mixed together. And, I don't use all of this. What I end up doing is just kind of eyeballing it. I just want to get kind of a thick layer all on both sides. That's another reason that I cut the fat off, because if you don't, then the seasoning is not going to be able to get to the meat. So, and I always try to flip the meat with one hand, and then I'll use the other hand in the rub, just so that I don't contaminate the rub in case I want to use it for something else. But yeah, I'm going to get all that on there, and then I will press it to make sure that it adheres to the surface, and then I'm just going to toss it into a 250 degree oven. I set the timer for 45 minutes. Like I said, next time I'll probably do it for about 35, just so that I can sear it a little bit longer. But, I'm going to just leave it for just a couple of minutes really on each side, because all I'm trying to do is just, give it a little bit of a sear. If you don't have a grill, you can also do this in a screaming hot cast iron skillet. And going for the taste here, this is the most well done piece of the whole tri-tip. So the stuff is delicious. Have a wonderful week and play with your food.